All right, I think we're live. Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Grinning Zero, and well, welcome to the channel. So this is the first stream that I'm doing in a series of streams. We're gonna cover games live. Basically, I'm getting into game reviewing. That's really the easiest way to put this. And today, we got a real treat. Adam RPG, which is quite possibly, I would say, one of the top RPGs that I've personally played. I've already completed it once, but that was a couple years ago. I had an older review for it, which was real low quality. This was on an old channel that I had. That channel doesn't exist. But yeah, we're diving back into the game, and what I want to do is basically discuss my early game impressions and thoughts as we play. So we're going to go ahead and get started here. Boom. All right, let's go on ahead and jump right in here. So to give you some context here, I've already played a little bit, already made it to level 6. Now, fair warning, I've already busted my build. The build that I'm doing is heavily martial arts based, as you can see here. Reason why I say I kind of busted that up is instead of getting black belt, I went for lone wolf and technophobe. Now, we're not here to discuss builds, but this is something I do want to stress that I really like about this game. The skills really do matter. I can't stress that enough. I do not like RPGs where you invest in skills and those skills do nothing. But this is just a brief overview of what I got for a character currently. The ability tree just unlocked Falcon Punch. I'm trying to work with what I got, and we're going to see how far I can actually get. Because I will say this, the early game can be a bit misleading. It can be a bit too easy. And I think a lot of that is coming from previous experience that I've made with this game. But that said, so far we've been doing okay. I've died multiple times, but overall, the opening of this game, it's solid. Definitely very solid. Let's go over here and guess we're going to eat some food here so I can get max health. Going and see what else I got to do as well. Got a bunch of quests I got to do. I have not gone to Krasno. We're just gonna call it Krasno. I'm not even gonna bother trying to pronounce that. We're going to Krasno. That's our next stop. Before I do that, there's a couple places I want to go. We're gonna go to the circus. So while we're doing that, mainly we're going back to the circus, and we're gonna go back to the Roaring Forest. These are two areas within the game. Reason why we're going to go back there is effectively, I went to those areas at a level that probably wasn't ideal. So the game itself doesn't really tell you what you should specialize in. Again, like this game is not going to give you a lot of help. You'll get some basic tutorials and that's it. You know, it'll be like, oh, if you want to, you know, highlight enemies, and attack them, hold left alt. I probably got that backwards. Is it control? Control? No, it's control. Yeah, it is definitely control. So here's our mini map. I do like this style. If you've ever played Fallout, and I don't mean Fallout 3, I mean Fallout 1 and 2. This is effectively the same exact style. I do really like this style of exploration. So I am a bit biased. Pre-war automobile repair base occupied by bandits. Will you infiltrate it and start combat? Let's just go for it. Let's get things. Let's get some action going here. Let's make things interesting. Let's see. Ooh, he's got a gun. Let me get the Falcon Punch ready. Let's see, what do we got here? Ooh, he missed. Oh, his weapon jammed. Let's go. Nice. Like I said earlier, what you invest your points into matters. Had I had martial abilities that were much lower than that, it probably would have not gone the way it just did. So we're gonna stick with that. Let's see what we got here. Probably sell that for money. Take the stimulant. Actually, I will take the protective face mask and the armor. Coffee. Screw it, we'll just take everything. That's one of those other things too, at least how I play. Oh, if only you had 3. Nice. Welcome, Red Fox. Nice to see you here, man. How you doing? Right, I really wish I did have 3 more HP. That's coming. Probably another level or 2. But like I was saying, skills really do matter. I love that about this game so far. At least from what I see in the opening. That could easily change. Ooh, he's running. Let's see if we can take him out. Alright. So he's dead. But as you can see here, combat is... It's turn-based. Again, this is pretty much identical to old Fallout. It's not my personal favorite kind of combat system. This kind of combat system is fairly old. You don't really get value from cover. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't run behind, let's say, these cable wheels, for example, or behind this truck. I'm not saying that at all. It just basically, it's not like XCOM where if you went up next to cover, you'd get some sort of defense bonus. Alright, so this guy's got a rifle. And I think I blinded him. No, it's just a critical hit. Oh, he's running too. That is a nice thing about this game too. Human enemies, if you do enough damage to them, they run. Alright, we're gonna hit him with the Falcon Punch. Oh, that didn't do as much damage as I thought it would. I have no idea what he's doing. I'm gonna be real honest with you. Alright. Things aren't exactly looking good here now. Alright, that's 2. Oh yeah, there's a solid chance I am going to die in probably the next turn. Oh sweet, we got it. Yep. There it is. And we're gonna get the death screen here. So, I probably could have played that a little bit better. I did pretty much alert the entire compound to my presence. But that was one of the many random encounters you get in the game. So let's take a step back here for a second. One of the things I really didn't like about the previous game I did a review on. I did a review on the Outer Worlds. One of the things I didn't like is how static the game world is. I really enjoy dynamic events in RPGs. I understand that a lot of areas will just be set pieces, NPCs won't really roam around or do anything. But this game has dynamic events. It's not a major thing, I would suppose, for most people, but having those extra dynamic events or the random encounters, I really think that adds a lot of value to a game. And that's one of those things that, you know, early on here with Adam RPG and going through this, you know, second playthrough, that's one of those things I really like. Now, to be fair, I am a bit biased. I love post-apocalyptic RPGs. So, I mean, take that with what you just take that how you want to take it. So we're gonna try to go back to the circus again and hopefully not get murdered on the way. So we'll take that nice and slow walk. This is one of the downsides to this kind of travel. This kind of map traveling is it's a little bit slower pace. There's not as much action. You see a trading caravan. Do you want to stop and trade it? Yes, I do. Again, another one of those random encounters. Really nice feature. And of course, let's get this out of the way too. So if you've never played an RPG like this, lines aren't voiced over. There is a lot of reading. If you don't like reading, this is probably not the game for you. But if you've never played an RPG like this, I highly recommend giving it a shot. Let's see. One grenade. Oh, there we go. There you go. There you go, Gingy. Pre-war cognac. You can get 2 of them for 69 rubles. I know what you're thinking. Nice. Alright, but let's see what he's got, though. I'm actually going to get rid of a bunch of this rubber. I do like to carry, in a game like this, I do like to carry a large amount of items around. Mainly just for the fact you never really know what you're going to need. There is crafting. Unfortunately, because I have technophobe, it's probably... this is, again, where skills matter. I can't harp on that enough. This is one of those situations where I probably shouldn't be carrying around all this junk and should probably just buy everything. But there are also some quests, too, where you have to gather items and you have to turn them in, so fetch quests. Let's do this. Let's get some extra rubles here. Ooh, sweet roll. Want one of those. What else would be good here? Cucumber brine. That actually will come in handy later on. Let's go ahead and initiate the trade. All right, and that's it. We're gonna keep on keeping on. So let's talk visuals here for a minute. That's something else that is... Oh, I have no idea where I'm in a mine shaft. I may have taken a wrong turn here. But we'll go and punch some of these rats to death. That's cool. I need the experience. But let's talk about the visuals real quick. So it's not the prettiest game. Definitely not the prettiest. I will say that. I've seen a lot prettier. But basically, all the visuals that you see here is basically just it's just for the sake of being able to traverse the environment. There's better looking RPGs out there. The closest, most recent one, I believe, would be Wasteland 3. Oh, it's gonna be this rat here. Let's force them to get a little bit closer here. Alright, that's it. They're dead. But yeah, the visuals aren't winning awards. The visuals in a game like this aren't the most important thing, but I will say that I do think that the gloomy look, like the oldish, gloomy, gray look, really adds to the atmosphere of the environment. Adding in the music, at least the soundtrack, into the game as well, along with the really just the ambient environment noise, that really does add a lot of value to this too. So while the visuals aren't the greatest, when you combine the factor that this game is really trying to convey a dark and gloomy look, it does actually, it gives you a certain atmosphere that I think does well in this style of game. Alright, we're going to keep on going to the circus here. Now, as you see here, there's a variety of places to explore. Each area is unique. No cut and paste areas, but they are very simplistic. There's nothing really complicated about them. So that could be a pro or con for some people. No need to go and trade with them. Yeah, like I said, visuals not winning any awards here. This is basically a flat surface, so you can't walk into this this pond, but you can tell just looking at it that it's very flat. It's just shiny to basically give you the idea that, you know, hey, this is water. So let's see here. There's a specific quest that I got to do here. This quest is actually, it is a little bit more difficult. I will say that. The difficulty and curve in this game isn't... I don't want to say it isn't consistent. I think for what it is, it's fine. But for somebody who's never played this kind of game before, and you've never played Atom RPG, you know, I'm assuming, you know, if you're watching this now, you probably haven't heard of it, or you've heard of it but have never played it. So the difficulty itself tends to be inconsistent. You'll come across an area like this where you're like, hey, I'm gonna fight this pack of rats, and then you're just gonna get absolutely murdered. I kid you not. Like, these rats here are no joke. They will basically never miss. Let's see. Wow, Falcon Punch really doesn't... That's interesting. This is supposed to be a 100% guaranteed critical attack. I may increase the battle speed here just for the sake of the stream itself, just so we can get in and out of combat a little bit faster. Okay. So that's one dead. We're going to back up a bit. Do you think the circus music you just passed by will be considered for a copyright strike? I have no idea. I'm going to be honest. I wouldn't be surprised, but this game was made by... Actually, I don't really know. I don't think it would. But, of course, it's YouTube, and pretty much anything can get copy striked. I'm probably going to lean on the side of no, though. Oh, boy. Well, I'm surrounded now. I'll take out two. I'm going to have to hope I get some critical hits here or something. And that I don't get hit with a critical hit. Like I said, these rats are no joke. And it's not even that they're, true. Much learning you'll go through. Absolutely, man. I mean, I haven't made a video in 9 or 10 months, and I haven't streamed. I mean, I think I tried to stream earlier in the year, and it just didn't go well. I have no idea why. I think it was I was playing Titanfall 2, and my system just couldn't handle it. Not really too sure why. Okay, so we're definitely not going to make it out of this, so I'm gonna try to see. I even leveled up. I tried doing this 2 levels ago, and even still, I really need that dexterity increase. I think that's gonna be the big thing here. Is I don't have the right stats for this build, so I'm kind of hurting myself here. Need a sweet 3090. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, probably never gonna be able to get one. Okay, you know what? We're gonna go for it. Hail Mary. Oh, nice. Instant kill. That probably would have been the smart thing to do earlier instead of running. And we're dead again. That is the combat to Atom RPG, ladies and gentlemen. It is not really forgiving. This is probably one of those quests I'm gonna need to come back to later. But hey, 40 series is incoming. It is, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I think it's basically going to be impossible to get them. I mean, you still can't get. Do I want to try that fight again? You know, sure, we'll try that fight again. I mean, you still can't get consoles. Microsoft can't even get their own Xbox these days. So I think the 40 series is probably going to have the same exact troubles as the 30 series. I mean, I could be wrong, because the 40 series is estimated to be out. What is it? The like mid 2022 of this year. So mid of this year. Yeah, it is 2022. Switches are available. Yeah, that's because Nintendo, they know what they're doing. I'm gonna be honest. That battle speed is actually kind of funny. I want this rat to come to me. There we go. That's, oh, 4 HP from that. All right, there we go. See, can I take this one out before the others get to me? The answer might surprise you. All right, we'll go for it. Sweet. That's what we were looking for here. You need a knife. I know I need a knife. See, that's the interesting thing here is you can 100% do a build without any gotta stab a rat. Yeah, I mean, I think punching them works too, and it looks like now I'm getting instant kills. Before, when I tried doing this, I would do like 14 damage. It would take 2 subsequent attacks just to get rid of one of these things. Alright. Let's get him over here. Let's bait him. Oh. Is there another one? Oh, there's one more. I want to make him get closer. Sweet. There we go. I have no idea what's happening here. Is that what I think it is? Is that a giant rat with a crown on its head? I've done this quest before, but I've forgotten how it turns out. Let's see. I did take some health damage here, so I'm probably going to want to eat some stuff. I'm going to save that sweet roll. The only problem I have with these is the -1 strength. You're going to need a rabies shot after these encounters. Yeah, you would think in the post-apocalyptic USSR that, you know, there'd be a way to get rid of that. But I'm assuming there isn't. This is Soviet Russia. In Soviet Russia, there are no rabies shots. That was an awful impersonation. I am never doing that again. So let's go ahead and touch up on inventory management here and just the basic equipment screen. I'm not personally a huge fan of the old style of inventory management. Again, same thing from Fallout 1 and 2, which it's pretty clear this game is modeled after that, after those titles. I would have liked to see something a little bit cleaner. Everyone is a rabie in communist Russia. Do they, though? Do they? Equipment, very basic. Nothing special here. This isn't... Hey, we're not winning any awards with innovation here. Old system. It works. But like I said, I would have liked to see something a little bit more interactive. But it gets the job done. Oh, everyone has rabies in communist Russia. Ah, there we go. That makes it a... That makes that sentence make a little bit more sense. I was processing something different in my head. You could be right there. It's probably something in the vodka. Let's see. Do I want to take the plunge? Alright, we're going to take the plunge. And I don't think I got addicted. Sweet. We're going to save scum here. Oh, this is great. King Rat. I mean, I guess that would make sense. There's a crown on their head. I do like the fact that that little attention to detail there it's a nice little touch. And if you'll notice here, there's certain dialogue options. You'll get experience from choosing specific dialogue paths. Nice little touch. I do think in a game like this, it is needed. On harder difficulties, experience is even more scarce. So with what I'm doing right now, it probably wouldn't be possible on harder. If it is, let me take that back. It's probably possible on hard to do a pure melee build, but you would have to be very careful with how you set up your initial stats and the traits that you pick, or in this game, they call them distinctions. Little nice touch there. I do like that a lot. All right. King Rat here is not going to let us just walk away. He basically just said there can be no peace, so we're gonna go ahead and fight him. So there are boss type enemies. This is one of those. I mean, would this be a boss? Would it be a mini boss? Oh, sweet Jesus. I forgot I have battle speed turned up. All right, there we go. Oh, he's running. Why? I didn't even do that much damage. That's interesting. Oh, yep, there it is, though. We're dead again. Again, this is that little, what I think might be an inconsistent difficulty level. We went from fighting rats that had rabies that just for whatever reason they never miss, which I mean, I guess that would make sense. They're basically mutated rodents with rabies that are a lot more powerful. Kate Chang 95, rip. Yes, you are right, rip indeedy. So there is a little bit of an inconsistent difficulty curve here. Now, I would say for somebody who's starting out with this game, you're going to save scum a lot. That could be a pro or a con depending on basically who you are. Some people absolutely hate save scumming. Personally, I don't see a problem with it, because you can kind of look at this as an experience of, hey, this didn't work, let me go back to my previous save. Either A, come back to this area again, try a different tactic. Really, it gives you options. Now, obviously, if you played on the hardest difficulty, since we already read through this, we're not really going to jump back through here. I am going to get the experience, though. Let's go ahead and get him to dial back a bit. Ow. Falcon Punch. Oh! That was nice. Alright, so he's heavily injured now. What I am going to do, though, is back up. Oh, he missed. Ah, so close. Alright, we're dead again. So I'm not going to go back to that fight. I think that's just going to have to be one we probably want to come back to. What I will do, though, is we'll come back to this. I believe we should be able to. I guess really the journal entry here didn't give it away. What could be easier? Yeah, this is a loaded quest. Well, this quest is easy. Just kidding. You're going to die. Alright, so we're just going to run through here real quick. Go past the copy strike tent here. pretty much what you're seeing here, though. It is the general gameplay loop. I've already talked to everybody in the circus. Unfortunately, there's some dialogue that is not available to me because of my skill setting. But you do a lot of talking in this game. There is a lot of it. Now, when I mentioned that this game is very dialogue heavy, we'll just dive straight into it. You're going to do a lot of reading. That could be something that some people don't like. If you're used to, let's say, Fallout New Vegas, or you've played the Outer Worlds, or Fallout 4, we're not going to mention Fallout 76, even though I just said it, because we don't talk about that abomination of a game here. I know some people like it, but that game is a black stain on the Fallout name. And we're off to a great start here. Okay, do I want to try to run? We're gonna try to run. Didn't work. All right, so this is where the difficulty starts really going up, because you will get these random encounters that, for example, I'm playing as a lone wolf. I am still... There's a likely chance that this build is not going to be viable later on. This is still the early game, so I can already see here that I'm probably gonna have to start a new character or start specializing in something else. Now, I've already gotten a level 6, so the problem is that you don't really, at least in the initial opening, oh sweet, that's an easy one. In the initial opening, you don't really get the chance to respec before you head out into the world, at least not from what I saw or remember. I could be wrong on that. I may need to just go back and verify that. But once you make your decisions and your character's created, that's it. You gotta live with that build. So, I mean, this game definitely makes you think. Some RPGs, you don't really think. You basically become a jack of all trades, you master everything, and that's it. You know, you just... It's basically... Think of like Skyrim, for example. Alright, we murdered all the insects. Sweet. Alright, we're gonna keep heading to the Roaring Forest, specifically the burrow that goes under the Roaring Forest. Forest? Yeah. Forest. Let's see, what else here? I'm curious. What is this giant monster? What is that thing? Oh boy. All right. We're we're dead again. You really do a lot of dying in this game. Okay, so yeah, this kind of reminds me of the one thing I really didn't enjoy about this game the first time I played it. Now, of course, again, my build probably could have been better. I'm playing on normal difficulty, and I'm getting encounters where it's like, I probably should be running away, instead of trying to fight. I really just try to take my chances. Alright, well, that monster's back. Can we... Oh, this time it's a bear. Do I want to take my chance with the bear? So, we'll slow down here a bit because we're really jumping around. But this is basically all it is for the combat. Every time you fight, it's pretty much going to be either enemies that run straight at you. They'll have some sort of weapon. Maybe they won't. Maybe they'll be using their fists. 9 times out of 10, they're going to have a weapon unless they're an animal. In which case, I guess they are the weapon. You can kind of look at the way the combat is set up as kind of like a chessboard. For me, something more interactive would have been better, because it does get to a point where, I mean, it's more or less stats. It's all about stats. There really is no variation in how the combat is. Of course, it's not a first-person shooter, and an RPG, combat isn't the center point. But this gameplay loop for somebody could get a little bit tiring, especially because, as you've seen, we pretty much are getting an random encounter every 15 seconds whenever we travel. For some people, this could become frustrating. Oh, sweet, we scared the bear. I'm gonna back up a little bit. All right, let's try to do... Okay, so he's not gonna run. We did it. We didn't die this time. Sweet. I will take the meat and those fangs. But combat can become kind of... It can become kind of irritating. There's gonna be moments where it's like, hey, I have a 99% chance to hit this target, and somehow you're gonna get that 1%. To some extent, that makes sense. If you're a master of a particular skill, it really doesn't. But of course, the game does have that that moment of it does have that uncertainty built into it, where it's like, hey, you're not a Terminator. All right, you're not John Wick. You're not just gonna wander through the wasteland and just dominate everybody. I like that. But again, like I said, something a little bit more interactive with the combat would have been a nice touch-up, but it is what it is, and we're going to use it the way it's set up, the way the developers intended it to be used. Now, as far as exploration goes, very basic. Fallout 1 and 2 styled. Ordinary Waste Dweller. That is a new random encounter. Ordinary system, well, older system, doesn't really do anything new. There's a lot of random encounters. I do think that sometimes you get way too many random encounters. Now, in terms of gathering experience points and being able to level up, a lot of the experience you get is going to come from the combat. So those random encounters, especially the ones that involve combat, do become very important. I think there's just a little bit too much. So we'll see how this changes later on in the game as I continue through this playthrough. Let's go ahead and see who this guy is. You will get the same set of basic dialogue choices every time you jump through the game. Not jump through the game. Every time you speak to a character, you're going to have the same dialogue choices for the most part. Sometimes they'll be a little bit different. It works. But can you acquire a pet dog so you can plan to become John Wick? Actually, you can. That is something this game does have. It does have a dog that you can get as a companion. And that dog can die. All of your companions, in fact, in this game can die. Game of Thrones style. I mean, even you can even take care of your own companions, if you get my drift. Thinkable. Okay, so I don't really know. I like that. Even the animals have their own sound effect. You can actually interact with domesticated animals and they'll make their associated sound effect. Nice little touch up there. I should probably camp real quick and make sure my health is up. Here's another little mechanic that is nice. So there is a camping system. You can stop. You can gather meats. You can gather other things such as tea, herbal mixes, and basically use these items to heal yourself and give yourself some basically buffs. It's a nice little system. And it also gives you a chance to interact with, there's three main attributes that you have to look out for as you explore the wasteland. We'll cover those here in just a sec. We're going ahead and take a look at those now. Ignore the health. So there's 3 attributes here that we have to watch out for. You have to watch out for hunger. You need to eat. Need to watch out for poison, so toxic damage. And then radiation. Those are all 3 things you have to keep an eye out on. Luckily, you don't have to sleep or anything. And food is plentiful in this game, just because of the amount of animals that you end up fighting. A lot of rats, a lot of wasps, spiders. You pretty much get, I mean, you're swimming with food. A little bit strange in a wasteland that's supposed to be, you know, a place full of famine. But food is easy to get. It's not the best food. Certainly nothing made by Gordon Ramsay. But this is the system that you use to basically heal yourself if you don't have first aid kits. Oh, my health is right there. I don't know why I did that. So let's do this. Boil some of the Tefir. Herbal mix. No luck, I just poisoned myself. So we'll have to eat, heal back up. And there we go. Alright, we're done here. That's really all the campsite does in the game. Could it have done more? Yes. Again, something else, another system that gets the job done. I don't think, by the way, the things that I'm not personally a fan of, I don't think they take away the fun of the game. In some ways, how things are set up, it actually adds to the fun, because again, you have to think. I really like that about this style of gameplay, is actually needing to use... I totally went in the wrong way. Actually needing to use your head instead of just what can happen in a lot of games of this type, where you basically just run around. You run around, you shoot at bullet sponge enemies, and nothing really matters. You're able to tank ridiculous amounts of damage. You are able to get an ungodly amount of items. I mean, some of that is the case here. You can pretty much loot a ton of items. There isn't a lot of item variety. That's something I haven't mentioned. There could have been a little bit more item variety. Okay, maybe there's a bit more of item variety than I'm thinking. But it does get to the point where you pretty much are picking up the same items all the time. Does this matter? No. But just something to basically mention here. Alright. We are in the underworld. Another great example of the ambiance that this game does provide. Oh, I hate these things. Let's see. Can I aim a shot? Oh. Alright, sweet. They're running. I'm going to back up a bit. One of the things that does hurt in the combat is getting surrounded. Oftentimes you will find yourself surrounded by other enemy types. Really just by the enemies in general. I don't know why I said enemy types, but you'll often find yourself surrounded by particular enemies. Diggers, for example, here, their tactic is basically just to get around you, and they're able to attack 2 times in a row. Now, their attacks don't necessarily deal a ton of damage, but they can. And as you can see, now we have been knocked down. And pretty much at this point, that's it. We're dead again. That is a central theme to this game. Dying a lot. You will see this screen a lot. Today that's probably what, my 20th time today seeing it. I've been playing a little bit throughout the day, and same thing. These are two particular locations that I don't think my character build is ready for. So I think it is time to go on ahead and, you know, cut our losses and head to Krasno, which is one of the main hubs. There are several main hubs in the game. So we're just going to come back to this at a later time. So we'll use the advantage of our map here. Nice little design here. It's got a nice little green hue to it. I do like the little splatter here. Nice little bit of artwork. The loading screens, beautiful. Whoever the artist is that made those, props. Hats off to you. Hats off to you for the some of the artwork in this game. While as the overall visuals of your character, basically the 3D visuals, while they may not be the best, the actual artwork itself, the aesthetic is it's great. All right, let's go fight some wolves. This is one of those fights that's, of course, probably going to be one of the easier ones. I'll let them get a little bit closer. Yep. One of the easy fights. I'll go ahead and loot them. Sometimes the looting animation doesn't actually kick in looting. Like, you'll hit... you'll notice it immediately after combat. If you try to loot straight away, you'll do the animation. Your character does the animation, but they don't actually... it doesn't actually open up the screen to pick anything up. So sometimes you basically need to wait a second after combat and then start looting. That's really more of a little nitpicking observation there. That could be smoother, but it's a nitpick. No big deal. All right. Krasno. There are other settlements here. For the most part, I'm just sticking to the main settlements that I need to go to. But this map is a pretty good size. It is covered in a fog of war, as you can see. And we're hitting another one of those random encounters. Oh, that wolf. That wolf was a little bit stronger. Okay. Oh, there's another one. That did not last long. Sometimes the combat can be a bit uneven. Like, one moment you're punching an enemy to death, one hit, and, you know, that's it. You move about on with your day. And then the next, you're basically going against unkillable opponents. So, very important to pick and choose your battles. And we're hitting the same random encounter again. Sometimes you will get a streak where there isn't a lot of variation. Oh. That is unfortunate. We may actually not survive this one. Oh, dude. This game is just not forgiving sometimes. But we're gonna do the same thing. Save scum. Sometimes all it takes is just hit and continue. That was just unlucky. So, we basically got the same encounter 3 times in a row. So, on top of, I think random encounters do happen a little too often, sometimes there's little variation. And I know earlier Let's see if we can escape. Cannot escape. But I know earlier as well, I also said there weren't, like every area is unique. The random encounter areas will oftentimes be the same template, but they will change a bit. But that's just something to keep in mind. Random encounters are not, they're unique at first, but eventually you will continue, you will sometimes see the same exact area. Actually, better than saying sometimes, you will more often than not see the same spot. So I have no idea what's around here. I don't actually see anything. So we're just gonna walk away. Alright. Let's try this again. We'll see if we can get there within the next 10 minutes. At the rate we're going, though, things are not looking too good. Alright, another one of the most common random encounters. We'll go ahead and knock this one out, get some free experience here. Or die instantly. Because we're going to get super hornets. Alright, let's back up a bit, draw them in, that way they can't attack. So they are getting closer. A little too close. Ah, there we go. Here's a good example. Poison damage. Poison damage is one of those attributes you have to watch out for, and the game does give you an easy way of handling that. Unfortunately, I don't have the ability to reduce that now. I mean, technically I do, but things like Antidote, for example, are extremely valuable in this game, at least early on. So you do also want to be careful how those items are actually used. There we go. And we're about 316 points away from leveling up, if I did the math correctly. I don't have anything to get rid of the poison right now that I want to use, so we'll just have to wait till we get to Krasno. It's not going to do anything detrimental right now. There is a certain point where your attributes will suffer, so it is important to pay attention to that. Oh, now we're hungry. Actually, let's meet the scavengers. Maybe they have some water. We'll go ahead and do some trade here. Right there. I think it's going to be this guy. So I know this has already been seen a couple times already. This is the barter system. Same thing from old Fallout. There's a very common theme here. It's same thing you'll see in Elder Scrolls. The Outer Worlds, not so much. You'll see this in Wasteland. Though this particular setup is pretty unique to older RPG styles. I need to offload some of these mushrooms. Got way too many of them. And we will take the water. This guy actually doesn't really have... Actually, I'm not going to trade that. I don't want to lose money. So we give him 2 mushrooms. He gets 2 mushrooms for the 1 bottle of water. Don't ask me how a bottle of water is not way more valuable than 2 mushrooms found in the wild, but it is. And this is what I was talking about. Some of the artwork of the character portraits in this game they're really great. Like, you can tell a lot of attention to detail was put into the artwork. The majority of characters that I've come across in the game, they all have unique profile artwork. It's got a really nice aesthetic to it. Really fits the overall atmosphere, especially when you combine it with this type of dialogue system. And we're going ahead and garbage collectors. Nice group name. Little does he know that we are an operative from Adam. Okay. I do need to camp real quick, just so I can get my hunger taken care of. When these are yellow, doesn't really matter as much, but when as soon as hunger or poison or radiation gets to red, that's when you need to start being concerned. So there is a little bit of breathing room there. Sometimes, especially mid to late game, at least last time I played this, in the mid to late game, there were moments when it felt like sometimes items would become scarce. So we'll see how that changes the next time I do another stream on this game. Because this game, there's a lot of content. It's probably going to take me a while to actually finish it and then do a review on it. Okay, so this is going to be one of those situations we're probably going to die right outside of Krasno. Okay. Let's see, what do they got? Looks like we're dealing with 3 bandits. One that's kitted out with armor. He's got a knife. They both got knives. Okay. So we need to take out this guy. We may get lucky here. They may just be... They may be some pretty low-level bandits. Alright, so he's running away because he's terrified. He's almost dead. Fantastic. There we go. Ooh. Alright, I need to draw this guy back a little bit further. Okay. We made it. Barely, though. 5 HP is all I have left. Do have some armor. The only reason why I'm not wearing armor is the actual stats are heavily affected, at least for like my build. With a melee build in a game like this game, for example, basically what can end up happening is there's a trait that you need to get that reduces the negative effects. So you lose the ability to dodge once you start wearing armor. Now, it does increase your damage resistance, but it can also be very detrimental. I found more success not using armor than I have with armor. Now, of course, this will probably be something that will change because there are some other traits that I am trying to get that, let's be honest here, that do seem pretty fun. But I really picking the traits. I mean, as soon as you start the game, picking traits and skills, it matters a lot. I can't stress that enough. And that's the same thing I stressed at the start. I don't remember that cutscene. It's been 2 years. Seems like a lot might have changed. Need to go see the local doctor. That cutscene's interesting. It's a nice little touch. Let's see. So we're gonna go do what we always do in an RPG like this. We're gonna go and talk to every single character, major and minor. Why? Because playing an RPG, why wouldn't you talk to everybody? And this is where the rest of the game, really where the rest of your play, most of your playtime is going to be. I cannot stress this enough. If the writing and the dialogue is not good in a game like this, then it basically kills the vibe. It makes you not want to play. And for the most part, I haven't found any part of the dialogue that I didn't enjoy. There are some nice little Easter eggs and references in there from various films and TV shows. So if, you know, what's a good reference? I actually can't think of one right now. Like, there's a couple Mad Max references, actually, that there are a couple that I can think of. I can't remember where, though. But there's some nice little references in the game. It's nice, a nice little touch. I do like those Easter eggs. But this is really the core gameplay loop right here. Other than the tactical turn-based combat, you read a lot. You interact with characters a lot. You'll barter. You'll take quests. You'll complete them. I mean, if you've played an RPG, you know what to expect. But for the most part, the writing is solid. There isn't really anything about the writing that has turned me off. Now, there are some grammar and spelling mistakes for the English version of the game. With as much dialogue as in this game, that can be expected. That's not something I'm going to nitpick personally. But it is there. There's been a couple of spots. They're very rare. But sometimes they can throw the dialogue off, because none of the dialogue, at least to my knowledge, once you get into the base game, is narrated. So you talk to this guard here, for example. He's never going to actually speak with another person's voice, narrating over the dialogue. So actually having good writing and being able to put together sentences in this kind of game is very important, and I think the Adam team did really good with that here for the most part. Again, we'll see how this changes throughout the game. So let's interact with a couple characters and see what happens from here. Got a nice little thunderstorm going on here. Also adds to the ambience. That's pretty much it. Some characters really won't have anything interesting to say. I do like the rumors. The writing for the rumors is interesting. One of the things that's nice when you get good writing is there can end up being this sense of mystery with all the different characters. One character will tell you a rumor about a worm that crawls into your ear and then eats your brain and then basically mind controls you, and you know, and that person goes out and they start cannibalizing other individuals and spreading. Mysteries like that are really nice. It's one of the reasons why, for example, there's a game, and I'm pretty sure if you're already a fan of our Adam RPG, probably already heard of it or even played it, called Stalker. There is a lot of sense of mystery in that game that adds to the atmosphere, and whenever you add that sense of mystery to a post-apocalyptic game, it's nice. Alright, so that guy doesn't want to talk to us. Alright. Darid Navish, Von Rent. Unfortunately, I'm not sure what that means. Alright, so this guy doesn't really want to talk to us much more. He wants us to go and find a missing coal shipment, or at least figure out what the hell is going on with this coal. Alright, so we'll go and talk. I really do want to try to avoid some spoilers here, just because the whole goal of this stream, as I stated at the start, was really just to discuss the early game. So we're going to go talk to a couple more people here, and then we're going to close out with basically my overall thoughts for my overall thoughts were how the opening and the initial early game is. There will be a conclusion to this. And like I said with the writing, sometimes you come across characters and they will have absolutely nothing they want they will want nothing to do to you. They don't really have anything to say. But luckily, you know, this kind of dialogue goes through pretty quickly. See, I'm curious what's going on here. Oh, is this who I think it is? Yes, it is. That is such a ridiculous name. Varna Banana Devi Christu. And the name of Sitting Wolf. This is a little bit humorous here. If I remember correctly, this is one of those characters that comes across as a crackpot. So there is humor in the dialogue. It's not all robotic. Sometimes you can get bad writing where either the dialogue is completely cringeworthy or it's just not entertaining at all to read. So far, haven't encountered that here, but we'll see what happens throughout the rest of the game. Sounds like it's raining outside right now. Hey, good sir or madam, welcome to the stream. Unfortunately, I'm not very sure what you just wrote, but welcome. Really just been discussing the early game here with Adam RPG. Happy to have you here. I apologize. Unfortunately, English is it's the only language that I know. I know bits and pieces of other languages, but again, this is what I have to make do with. That said, this is one of those interesting companions here. And she's gone. Oh, it is raining pretty hard outside right now. Let me guess, we're gonna go and investigate a cult. Ah, here we go. A cult investigating a cult. I like that. We're not a cult. We're just a scientific and educational philosophical movement. That sounds a lot like Scientology. I see the resemblance. All right, I want to know what this guy wants. This is one of those situations where dialogue will be a bit longer, characters will want to speak to you, and it's really up to you how this plays out. And there's a lot of ways that this can go down. The game gives you a lot of options. Sometimes the options will be pretty black and white or red versus blue, and you'll just pick basically whatever you feel like picking. But sometimes you'll get certain choices and dialogue options that really make you think, is this the right path? Is this something that I want to actually do? Not every RPG does that. And there's a few quests here and there and a few conversations in the game that I've encountered that do actually make you think about what you want to say next. Because, I mean, you could, for example, come across a gate guard and not say anything to them and then, like, have a dialogue option, crack your knuckles, and then suddenly you're in a fight with a gate guard and the whole compound comes out to attack you. So, dialogue also matters. All right, so we just got another quest here. And I think as far as gameplay goes, that's going to do it. We've been going for a little over an hour here now. Gonna watch those frames drop heavily. But that's pretty much the extent of what we're gonna do for the gameplay today. So, thoughts on the initial experience. I'm biased. I like Atom RPG a lot. There's a couple things here that I'm not a huge fan of. Most notably, I'm not the biggest fan of the combat system. It is what it is. I don't hate it, but I also don't love it. The combat could be a little bit more interactive. Outside of that, though, combat's not the center point. This is an RPG. But when a game does put you in a lot of tactical situations where you have to fight other opponents, I would have liked to have seen a little bit better of a system. With that said, let's talk about the visuals real quick. The visuals, they're not the best. I get that. But for what it does for the game, this is actually a pretty solid aesthetic. It adds to the atmosphere, it adds to the doom and gloom that you experience in the game. It really shows you how far civilization has fallen since basically the nuclear apocalypse occurred within the game. Aside from visuals, the soundtrack it's pretty good overall. It isn't the most, it's not complicated, it's very simple, but it also adds to the atmosphere. That's a great example right there. I mean, weather effects actually sound like weather effects, so that's something to make note of here. The sound effects actually make sense. The soundtrack and OST in general just makes sense, and it adds to the post-apocalyptic vibe. It really it brings you into the experience. You don't ever feel as if you're not in a wasteland, I guess, is really what I would probably say. Outside of the visuals, inside of the visuals, the general artwork of the loading screens, the attention to detail to the character profiles is something as simple as the dialogue console. It's really nice. Whoever the artists were from the Atom team did a fantastic job. I really do like the artwork. The writing is overall, at least from the opening experience here, is solid. It's enjoyable to read. There's some nice Easter eggs in there. There's humor. There's also a bit of intrigue and mystery. Not all RPGs are equal, and this is one of those, I think, that does some things better. Great example. I think this game does writing a bit better than the Outer Worlds. And that's a fine line across there, because I know there's some really big Obsidian fans out there. I'm a big Obsidian fan, but I wasn't personally a fan of the Outer Worlds. I thought the writing was phenomenal, but I think this game is on par, if not a little bit better, because there's more of a sense of mystery and intrigue. As far as the core gameplay loop in general goes, and the mechanics that are associated with that game, skills matter. And the game doesn't tell you what you need to do something. You just have to figure that out as the player. I really like that. I think too many games want to handhold the player these days, and they don't allow you to figure things out. Now, from a different perspective, I understand that some players will not like that. Some players do like to know what's going on. If you are one of those people, don't pass up on the game. Now, I know this is not an official review here. All right, I just want to make this clear. This is not me fully reviewing the game. That's going to come after I finish my playthrough or get to a point where this character build's just not viable, and then I'll have to determine, do I have enough information to go off of my completed previous playthrough and this playthrough to really give you an informed conclusion. But don't let I would say, for some people, knowing what you need to do a specific action is nice. It's important in some aspect, but I also like the fact that, your hand is not going to get held in this game. But overall, opening impressions, early game, I really like it. It's a bit punishing, and the other thing I don't like too much is the difficulty does feel inconsistent. One encounter you'll get that is incredibly easy, and the next encounter you're going to get 6 bandits all armed with rifles and pistols, and they will not miss. I kid you not. That is one of the things I'm not a huge fan of. But that does promote more tactical thinking. It really makes you think, especially in regards to how do you build your character. I'm doing a melee only build. I'm probably going to have to, at the bare minimum, use pistols and SMGs, or if not a rifle. I'm probably going to have to specialize in another combat ability because I'm already getting to a point where I need to keep my opponent at range. So that is one of those things to keep in mind. This game will make you think. I really like that. So overall, initial impressions, I love it. I mean, what more can I say? I'm a bit biased, so take that into account. But the opening is very solid. And there's really nothing other than the inconsistent difficulty. Too many of the same random encounter, and oftentimes it feels like too many random encounters. And of course, I'm just not as big of a fan of this style of the tactical style of combat system that's in this game. But anyways, that's it. Those are my thoughts on the initial early game of Atom RPG. And I'd like to say welcome to Atom RPG. If you've never seen this game before, stick around. I'm going to be doing a full-blown review of this game. It's probably going to take me a couple of weeks. It took me a couple of weeks just to do the last one for for the Outer Worlds. My opinions on this game will probably change over time. That's when I start to notice little cracks in the game here and there. But overall, solid experience starting out. So with that said, for those of you who tuned in, thank you for watching. I greatly appreciate it. If you want to stick around for more content, absolutely stick around. You know, I'd love to have you as part of my community, and really just join us here as we dive into, you know, games that really don't get the coverage they deserve. This is a game that does not get the coverage that it deserves. The Atom team has built something real special here. I mean, really with that, it already seems like my conclusion's already been formed, but again, it could change. So wait for the full review for my overall conclusion, and whether or not you should get it. I'll even include why you should get it or why you shouldn't. But this is one of those games, one of those rare, smaller games that's really affordable. It has a ton of content, and it's really well made. It's criminally underrated, and it doesn't get the exposure that it deserves. I think in some aspects, this is better than some of the games that are out there. Like, I'm talking $60 full-priced games that are coming out today. But anyways, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you for watching and sticking around. Gingy, Kate, thank you guys for being here. Same to you, Bowl of Noodles. Dareed, unfortunately, I used to be able to read Cyrillic, and I can't anymore. I should probably do that. Maybe I should pick up a new language again. But seriously, thank you guys for dropping into the stream. I greatly appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing you next time. With that said, this is Grinning Zero, signing off. And let's, I forgot the ending panel.